On this episode of Let's Try Kitchen, we step into the world of Xiao Long Baos. You've probably stumbled upon this video because you too want to learn how to make Xiao Long Baos. You might be overwhelmed by the process of making these dumplings, because well, they aren't easy. The steps in making these dumplings can be quite overwhelming. You have to learn how to make the filling, learn to make a soup, learn to gelatinize a soup, learn to make a dough, learn to roll the dough, learn to pleat the Xiao Long Baos, steam the Xiao Long Baos, and then eat the Xiao Long Baos. And finally, by the time you're done, your feet are aching, your back hurts, and you've spent all day that once you take a bite, your dumplings taste terrible. You can't post it on social media for all your friends to be jealous because they taste like trash. And then you'll sit on the couch thinking to yourself, why did I waste my entire day making this? I should have ordered to go at Din Tai Fung. Like many of you, I watched a few videos on YouTube and took on this challenge. I bought all the ingredients and spent several days making Xiao Long Baos. My experience with the first batch was terrible. My second batch was also terrible. I did not want to leave this project unsatisfied, so I made it a third time, and it was so much better. I was wondering, what makes a good Xiao Long Bao? Is it the soup? Is it the filling? Pleating? Nope, none of that. The dough is the most critical in making the dumplings. Without a strong wrapper, your filling and soup will leak all over the place. It is a thing that holds everything together. A lot of videos on Xiao Long Baos do not speak on the importance of kneading the dough for an extended period of time. They just gloss over it and say knead for 10 minutes, rest for an hour. However, I did so and my dough was pretty bad. I made 2 batches of baos on the first day. Both batches, the dough sucked. My dumpling skin had no bounce, no elasticity, and no flavor. I did not change anything and did the same approach again. My belief on what went wrong was I added too much water. No, that was not the case. My problem was I did not knead enough. My dough was brittle, wet, and sticky. This caused my dumpling wrappers to stick to my surface, tear easily, and they were not strong enough. When folding my dumplings, the skin would easily stick to each other. My pleats would morph together and make one ambiguous ball with filling in the middle. Or my wrappers would have zero strength when trying to support the filling mid-air, easily causing a holy bottom. Taste-wise, the dumplings had no bite, the texture and mouthfeel were off. It just tasted like a ball of dough. I was extremely frustrated because I spent many hours on this project. I explored the world of YouTube and stumbled upon the holy grail of Xiao Long Bao tutorials. It's not BuzzFeed or Tasty or a channel with 1 million subscribers. Instead, it is a lady named Hungry Cook. She has hours of content that is solely based on dumpling dough. I found through my research that my problem was not kneading enough. On my third batch of Xiao Long Baos, I adopted her method of kneading. It is a 3-part kneading process, where you knead for 5 minutes, rest for 5, knead for 10, rest for 10, knead for 10, rest for 20. She taught me the importance of kneading, and also a better technique of kneading on which you fold the top and bottom of the dough on top of each other and rotate it 90 degrees. This technique creates a network of millions of tiny gluten bonds. Your dough becomes strong, elastic, smooth, and bouncy. It doesn't taste like a ball of dough, but has a toothsome chew to it. On my third batch, I was surprised at how strong my dumpling wrappers were. They were easy to roll, and I did not create any tiny holes. When folding my dumplings, I could add about 15 grams of filling, and the wrappers could hold the weight with just 2 fingers. This was completely different from my first batch. The filling would be too heavy for the wrapper, and I would constantly create many holes. This problem was eliminated in my third batch, and it's so funny because the simplest solution was that I needed to knead for longer than 10 minutes. There's a lot that goes into Xiao Long Baos. You have the filling, soup, and dumpling wrapper. When all 3 things work harmoniously together, you achieve an amazing dumpling experience. However, when one thing is off, the entire experience is off. And as a home cook, I want to encourage you to focus on one thing when tackling this project: the dumpling dough. I believe that the dumpling dough is often overlooked. There's a lot that goes into it, like what type of flour do I use, temperature of the water, do I use a combination of cold and hot water, how long do I knead, how long do I rest, Do I use yeast? Do I do a combo dough recipe? What about salt? I don't have any of these answers because you, the cook, need to decide based on your preference. As you can see, there's more to dumpling dough than just add flour and water, knead for 10 minutes, and rest for an hour. The next time you make Xiao Long Bao, consider what I've said. I hope I've helped you in some way, and I thank you so much for watching. If you have learned something, or have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or even consider subscribing. This has been Jonathan at Let's Try Kitchen, and as always, if you have messed up in the kitchen, you can always begin again.